Well, if you've watched very many of my videos, there's one thing you'll see. I'm a big fan of the 300 BlackOut. What I thought I'd do today is show a video of how to size the case and make your own brass out of spent 223 or 556 casings. So here's a loaded 300 BlackOut, and here's a spent 556 case. So as you can see, what we're going to do is we're just going to neck the case down and then resize it. And I'm going to show you a saw that I put together and how I go about doing this. Okay, so we're going to take these cases and we're just going to size them for the 300 BlackOut. Now, because this is still a 22 caliber neck on the old case, we have to remove our depriming stem. So what we're going to do now is we're going to size the case to that BlackOut size, and see, you get that right there. And this is the way they come out. This is the first step to our process. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go through all these, size them to that BlackOut, and then I'll show you on the cutter how we trim that off. So I'm just going to keep repeating that process until I've gone through all these. Okay, our next step is to cut the case off. Now I cut it so that it's a little long, and then we'll come back later and trim it down more precise. But this is a good way to get it cut off. So what I've done is I've created this little box here, this little cut-off saw, if you will. I've got a cool little drawer so I can put some blades, you know, whatever I need. This little bracket right here is the cut-off shell holder, if you will. And where I got that from was called squirreldaddy.com. They sell them there. They're pretty cheap. And then what I've done is I've just used a little little air cut-off saw, and I got this from Harbor Freight, and it was like $7. So pretty simple. And I've just created a little arm that sandwiches it in, so I can use it to cut off. Basically, what I do is I just put the casing in here and bring it down and cut it off. And I just keep repeating that process until it's all done. Pretty simple. I'm going to keep going through that, and we'll show you the next step. Alright, we're back over here at the press. So our next step, we've taken that case and we've cut it off. And as you can see, there's a pretty serious burr around that left by that blade. So what we're going to do, we're going to put the depriming stem back in. And at this point, what we need to do is we need to finish sizing the case. So this is going to size the inside where the bullet sits, and it's also going to deprime the case. So I'm going to go through and I'm just going to redo this again. And there should be still enough lube on that case that you shouldn't have to re-lube it. So I'm going to go through and do that. The other thing that's nice about that when it does that size is it basically trims away a lot of that excess left over from that blade. So I'm going to go through this process now and finish sizing my case. Alright, our next step, now we've got a properly sized and deprimed case, we need to trim it to length. So the trimmer that I like to use for this is just this little RCBS trimmer. It comes with a shell holder and then your trimming stem. And basically what you do is you put this in here and you twist and twist and twist until you've trimmed it down. Now they have made this so that you could put a drill on the end of there, and you could use a drill like this. But what I've found is that thing spins off and it hits me in the knuckle and it hurts like crazy. So what I've done is I've kind of rigged up something here where I've taken this stem and I've fit it inside of a socket so that I'm running that end of the trimmer instead of spinning the case, and it seems to work a lot better. So I'll go through one by one, put my case, you can see that's spun and done. When I take the case out, I'm going to just ream that hole just a little bit just to clean up any burrs and kind of soften that edge, and that's what I want right there. So I'm going to repeat this process and go through all these cases, trim and ream until I'm all the way through it. And the way this thing works, this has a flat base on it, and the trimming has a little stem that pokes through the bottom and should be perfectly flush. That's why we need to have it deprimed and ready for this process. But basically that's it. I'm just going to continue on with this until I get them all trimmed down. Okay, so here's our finished case. What I've done is taken these over and put them in the tumbler, and I've let them tumble for about 4 or 5 hours in corn cob media, and it's polished them really nice. Now they're ready to go for loading. So to go through this really quick with you, basically what we got here is recently shot 223 or 556 case. We've removed the priming stem out of our die and done the first initial size. And we took it over to that cutoff wheel and cut it off just a little longer than what we need. Then we've taken it here and we've actually sized it this time with the priming stem. So this is sized correctly now and deprimed. And then what we've done is we've trimmed the case to the proper length and deburred the edge, and then went through that cleaning process. And at this point you have created your 300 BlackOut case. It's pretty simple. There is a little bit of a process to it. I hope this helps. I hope this maybe takes out some of the myths and shows you how easy it is to do it. If you follow the process, it's simple, and these are a lot like a pistol case now. There's not going to really have a lot of stretch to it because it doesn't have a shoulder, and I hate to say, you know, how many times you can reload this, but it's going to be quite a few. It's going to be a lot like a pistol. You're not going to have all that expansion problems that you have with some of your rifle cases. So it is a lot of work to do, but well worth it, especially when you start to look at the price of 300 BlackOut cases. Anyway, hope this was good. Give me some feedback. I'd love to hear from you.